Being a non-hijabi myself back then, when I used to look at these hijabis, I would feel scared. I would feel like I can never be one of these people because I had an assumption, not that something happened to me, but I had this assumption that every time you would go to these people, they're gonna judge you, they're gonna tell you what to wear, and they're gonna be like, oh, they're gonna be so boring. And all these like Islamic stuff, like all they would do is like sit in the mosque and etc. These are the type of thoughts I had because I was a completely different person back then, and I would have no clue what happens like in the Islamic world and etc. I was like clueless, right? I would just go to school, do my thing, work, etc., live my life, hang out, all that stuff, right? And one day a hardship hit me and I went into this whole depression, right? And I was like trying to find solutions and etc., look up online, etc., etc. And I'm like, and then I had this thought like, what does Islam has to say about this problem that I'm going through? And I try to look up online, try to see what's the solution, etc. Like try my best, try my hard, like basically research and etc. Right? So I looked up and I started watching YouTube videos, Islamic YouTube videos, and all of a sudden I would just feel peace. And I was like, wow, I've never felt such a feeling before. And it's a beautiful feeling. It feels peaceful. And I'm going through hell right now. And this is really helpful. So I started looking up like having trust in Allah, being patient, etc., etc., right? So, and that's how my heart started changing. And then I started looking up the prayers. So I was like, okay, maybe if I start praying 5 times a day, my problem will be solved. So I started with like one prayer at a time. I was like, okay, how do I do this? So I started praying, I think I started praying Fajr in the morning or Dhuhr or something. So I would just pray one at a time, one day at a time. And then the next day would come, I would pray one. And then the next day would come, I would probably pray one again. So probably like for the whole week, I kept praying one Salah per day. And then I was like, okay, maybe I should just increase it to 2, right? So I started increasing it to 2 and then 3. And then once I built that consistency, started adding 4. And I think the last one was Isha or Fajr, I don't remember. And then once I had all of my 5 prayers done, what I felt like covering it up for some reason. I would usually wear like half sleeves and stuff like that. So I felt like, okay, maybe I should just, started covering my arms, And then once my arms were done, I felt like, okay, maybe I should wear like a little bit loose pants, right? So I started going in that next step. And my closet was full of clothes that I could just never wear again. So it was that bad. I was like, all of these shirts I had were like half sleeves, and then 70-80% of the closet that I had to like, rebuild it from scratch. So I just one day I felt like, okay, just something has to go on top of my head. I don't know, but something. So I started researching about hijab then. And, so there's like a whole debate online if you go in there. People are like, okay, hijab is necessary, it's not necessary, has to cover up this, etc. Like, like all the niqab and all the, hiding everything and what's mandatory, what's not, etc. So this is like a whole, different world. But something came from the sky to my heart and I was like, okay, let me just do it now. So I started just wearing like, the dupatta style, right? I didn't know anything about pinning and hijab style, nothing. I was like, ugh. So I started somewhere and it would just like slip off and I was like, ugh, this and that. It's hard to maintain. And then there's just one other phase where I started thinking that, okay, what will other people think or say when I start this, because normally people fear judgment and other people, because they're like, oh, look at you, like, oh, you're all religious all of a sudden, like, look at that. So it is never a sudden change. I'm telling you, it's never a sudden change. You go through phases. Like, look at my journey. It was like kind of long, right? I started from like step one and then all the way up. So, and I was like, next phase, I was like, okay, what are people gonna think? Because I've seen millions of girls like putting it on, taking it off, and I was like, what if I was one of these people who would wear a hijab, and then 1 year later or 2 year later, I would just take it off, and then I would fear that, okay, what, or if I'm gonna face any negativity, right? So alhamdulillah, nothing like that happened at all. I was lucky enough that I never saw anything negative in people. And actually, it was completely opposite. People were actually very, very supportive of me wearing hijab. For some reason, I don't know why. I was like, this is nice, okay, no one said anything, good. And then the next thing was like, okay, what was, like, what about work? Like, I was going there as a non-hijabi, and then all of a sudden I'm gonna be hijabi. It's gonna be super awkward at work. So I was like, okay, let me talk to my boss. So I took her into the conference room, and I talked to her, and I was fearful that she was also going to be like, oh no, you can't do this, you can't do that, blah blah blah, right? But she never said anything like that, and she was in fact so happy. And she literally said one thing. She was like, this is a very noble thing that you're doing. So I'm getting emotional. Anyway, so she said that, and I was like, wow, okay, I can wear this here, great. And then I started coming to work wearing hijab. Okay, I would wear this like crazy clothes that were not even like work attire, because I had no clue how to like mix and match hijab styles and like colors and etc. It was like, it's such a hard job, I'm telling you. So now let's talk about struggle of wearing hijab. It is very hard in the beginning, and I'm not gonna lie, it is very hard. And at times I would feel like I would want to take it off, because I would get so depressed, because I was like ongoing, hardship, right? So I would get so depressed. I was like, okay, let me just take it off. What's the point of this? So you have to be very patient with this, and you have to be resilient, and you have to have strength to continue, because at times you're going to be like, no, that's it. I don't know. It does not look good on me. What's the point of it? Like, what are people gonna think? And you're like, it's just hard to manage. It slips off. It's never fits. I don't know how to match. There's so many million billion things, right, when it comes to hijab. And then I would have this other problem, my chin, right, this area. Any style that I would try, and I would like go to YouTube and like tutorials and stuff, I would go try to wear it. First of all, it did not look good on me. Second of all, it would like hurt this area, because I have like a square jawline ish. So this area, if I put anything in there, it hurts, and it like kind of chokes me, no matter how loose I do it, no matter how etc. So I was like, okay, this is another problem. So I started ignoring all these videos, and I started going about my own way, which is this way, right? So I started wearing it a little bit loose around here, so I would not, feel suffocated or choked. So any style that I could, try and mix and match, etc., whatever, right? I would do that. And now, alhamdulillah, I have so many of my own styles that I wear that does not choke me and etc. And even today, even if I try different styles, it still, bothers me. So I have to have it a certain way, and I have to deal with it in a, way that it's not super uncomfortable. So alhamdulillah, now it has been 8 years, and my phase, I had this phase where I wanted to take it off around like the 4th year, 5th year. And after that, it became like, whoa, like I would never want to take it off. Like seriously, the only time I would take this off is when I get old. Because I think in the Quran it says that you can take it off once you are reached the old age, or once you're not no longer to like reproduce and stuff, right? So that's when I'm going to take it off. And maybe not, who knows, I don't know. It kind of looks really good. Like, it looks elegant. Like, when I started, now it looks really good on me. But back then I was like, no, So you have to like really look at what suits you, how do you style it, what looks good on you, etc., your face, your features, etc., colors. So those of you who are trying to wear a hijab, let me tell you this. This is a beautiful type of worship. This is between you and Allah, and it does not have to be perfect to the dot. You know how people say that, okay, this is wrong, that is wrong, etc., etc., etc. Like, it has to be a certain way, specific way, etc., etc. First of all, none of these things are mentioned in Quran. If Allah wanted us to wear a specific way, He would have said it. But the guidelines are very generic. And there's just a whole debate, different debate about like hiding face, hiding this, hiding that. So you have to start somewhere and not go for perfection. Because if you go for perfection, you would never be able to wear that. It's a lot of work. But if you love Allah enough, you will go through this with ease. It's like going to a battle in 2025, where you have to like be consistent with it, resilient, have to manage it, have to continuously do this, right? There's struggle behind this, and you get rewarded for it. And it actually brings you closer to Allah as well, because like this is something very personal, and this is between you and Allah alone. So a couple of you have asked me online on Instagram how to, wear this style, and there's another style that I'm about to show you. So I'm gonna show you two styles, and let's do the first one. I'm not a tutorial person, but let me just try it, okay? One side bigger, one side a little bit smaller, right? So I kind of like fold it around right here and fold this, yeah? And I would take my magnet and just kind of like do this like a nun. I don't know how to do tutorials, man. Okay, I'll keep this behind me, put this in the front, kind of like adjust it, etc. And then I would just normally do is I take this and then, yeah, voila, there you go. Ta-da, yeah. If you have to pin it here, just pin it here. But yeah, this is the first one that I, do. And there are like several other ones that I like to do. There's this second one somebody requested. I forgot which one was it. Oh yeah, okay, now I remember. And I'm gonna have to change the material because this is chiffon. Chiffon is a little bit better with this style. So what I do is normally, okay, yeah, I think center. Yeah, center. Okay, so for that one, even sides, right? And what was that? I think, yeah, no, this this corner right here. So grab this side, and you're going to just throw it like this, right? And you're gonna take this and you're gonna throw it on the other side, yeah? So it's kind of like a little bit flowy-ish. And what you're gonna do is like magnet it in the back. Like this, yeah? So it's like a nice little flowy-ish, yeah? Okay. Probably couldn't hear me at all. Anyway, so yeah, that was my journey. And usually what happened is sometimes when a believer does not have enough good deeds, etc., which I clearly did not have, Allah puts them through hardship so they can level up and they can hopefully reach Jannah. And that specifically at that time it happened to me. And even now, like, I go through some hardships and etc., and it is a way to get better and better and better. Like, only if you are patient, only if you're patient and you can endure the pain, right? The pain is gonna make you stronger, and you're gonna be like, whoa, right? So now at this stage, look at me, like I do Instagram and I do content creation, etc. So Allah has really, like, put me in a position to like help others, and be the, this big person, and it's just like, and it's an amazing feeling. Like, I cannot describe you, like thinking of where I was, like 10 years ago versus like now. It's like a whole 180-degree turn. So there are some people like me in this world who go through this hardship and just get better and better and better. So I hope you liked my little story and my journey. Inshallah, we'll start our regular content. This was a little bit different, but inshallah, we'll start talking about, like, topics. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.